Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GitGUDRacing.com, where I'm offering the most accessible coaching sessions on the market.
Now for the track guide. Turn 1, quite tricky corner because you really have to apex as late as you can. So I use as a reference for braking these banners on the left side with these images. The moment that I'm not seeing them anymore is the moment that I'm starting to apply the brakes, but it's also important to use this space between the grass and the white line. There's a bit of space on the concrete here where you can put a small part of the tire on it. So you really want to open the corner as much as possible by using the grass as a reference to align yourself with the corner. So that's the first thing. So really aligning yourself with the grass here using this space, and the moment that I'm almost not seeing the banners on the left side, like right here, just a small image remains here, is the moment that I'm applying the brakes. I'm downshifting to third and I'm being patient with the moment that I'm apexing. So it's really about staying on the brakes, trail braking until you see your reference point. And whenever you see that reference point, that's the moment that you commit to the turn. If you're gonna commit too early for this corner, you're gonna run out of track and you will have to brake or to drop your throttle, so you're gonna lose time. So the idea is to be patient. So trailing, still not committing to the corner. And when I start to see this bit of it's not gravel but dirt around the red curb, that's the moment that I'm committing, because I want to cut this curb at this dirt. So around here, I'm cutting the curve and I'm going back on throttle 100%. And if you see this frame here, like I'm still holding a bit of brakes and I'm to the point of releasing it to 0, but I'm building up the throttle. It's almost the end of the curve where I'm putting the power down. So this is a very late apex. And that's exactly what you need to do in these corners. I did a lot of attempts here, so I really know that it's deceiving, because look how big this curve is. It starts here, and then it goes, still going up until here. So apex as late as you can, so you can carry this speed. Around here it still won't be an off track. So if you're gonna have your right tire still at the white line or beginning of the curb, it's not gonna be an off track. You can use that and you see no off track here. Now going into the next corner, firstly, it's important to be aligning yourself again with the white line. I use as a reference for braking this dip in the track. Like the track goes like this and it's a compression zone. On the compression, you'll have more grip because naturally the car is pressing against the track. So a lot more grip here. The moment that I feel the suspension loaded is the moment that I'm gonna press the brakes. In this lap particularly, I'm braking a bit earlier. Ideally, this was a mistake. Ideally, you want to brake just a bit later because you'll have more grip. Like this around here was a bit too early of a braking. You want to brake around here to initially put the pressure, because the goal is to arrive at the peak pressure in the compression. So in a way, for me, it's not that bad, because it kinda align, but it will be even better to brake at the moment that you start feeling the car dipping, applying the brakes, and then it's a big trail braking zone, because as the turn 1, this is a huge curve and you want to apex as late as you can. So not committing yet, still going around it. And what feels to me like a late apex is this cone position right here on the right side. So I'm planning to apex to the point that these cones will be in my sight, because at this point right here, and in my sight I mean more closely to the right side, because at this point you see they are far ahead on the left. The moment that I'm having them more on the right, like center right, that's the moment I want to apex. So apexing late as you can, even later than that, because I had to do this hesitation on throttle just because I felt like I would run out of track. So really having these cones right here more on the right side, so that you will be able to not do this correction under throttle. You want to keep the throttle pinned to 100%, because right now I gained a bit initially, but now I'm losing that time on this straight. And now I'm losing time because of that. So apex a bit later. For the next corner, I want to turn in with 100% throttle, so carrying the speed into the corner. However, just a slight moment after that, I'm applying the brakes and I'm not braking too much. This brake is just to make the car point, to make the front tires grip, because otherwise the car is gonna go on the right side, you will go on the grass. So you need a bit of brake, but don't brake too much, because the purpose of the braking here is not to slow the car down, it's to just make the car point and carry as much speed as you can. I apex around the curb, and then I'm going back on throttle 100%, aligning myself with the white line, and I use as a reference for braking the moment in which I'm aligning to the white line. So at this point I'm parallel to the white line, my steering wheel is straight, so I can apply the brakes. You don't want to brake while you're still turning the car. So let's say, for example, the car is a bit more on the right side and you turn it left, and you don't want to do your braking while you're still turning left or right. So you want to wait until the car is straight and then applying the brakes. Quite heavy braking zone initially, but you have to go in second gear and then just trail brake again. It's a long corner, so put the power down what to you feels like the middle of the corner, because otherwise you will run out wide. It's the same thing as the first two corners. Now for the first chicane, my reference for braking is this kink. You see there's a bit of kink in the white line here, where the white line starts from being parallel to going straight around here. At this point I'm gonna apply the brakes. So right now I'm applying the brakes, and I want to take the diagonal line towards this corner. So I want, in my mind, I imagine a line which goes almost straight between those two black boxes, and you want to be as close as you can from them. So braking diagonally, going now left, still holding the brakes very close to this thing. That's gonna be a reference. And now the trap here is to carry just a bit more speed so that you won't be earlier on throttle. This corner, this chicane, it's all about the exit. The entry doesn't really matter that much. Like, you can be 1/10 to 10s slower on entry than make for all that time and more on the exit here. So nice and slow, still holding the brakes. The moment that I'm climbing over the curb, so when the moment I'm landing, because you're going on the curb and then landing, you can apply more brake pressure because now you have more mechanical grip. So now I'm applying just a bit more pressure and now trailing to this part, and I use as a reference this black box here. I want to be on throttle at the black box, so here I'm back on throttle, and this will be the highlight of this corner. The earlier you're gonna be on throttle, the most of the time you're gonna gain, because right now look, I'm gaining on the exit just because I was nice early and confident on throttle. Going into the second chicane, you wanna brake in between 100 and 50. I think I braked a bit too early right here, and I also braked a bit too hard. You can brake with 85 or so and still the car will stop almost the same and you'll have more cornering grip. You really want to avoid braking to 100, so this was a mistake. Now downshifting to second, very close to this, and I plan to still trailing on the exit and then put the power down. So I put the power down, what to me feels like in between those two corners. I don't think that putting the power down early here will gain you time, because this is such a short corner that you won't take advantage of going slow in fast out, if that makes sense. You can throw the car more, like carrying a bit more speed initially into the corner, because there's not enough time, there's not enough distance for you to gain it back if you're gonna have an earlier throttle application. So for me, the way that I treat it, it's that I will put the power down after the black box and it will be okay. Now again, doing a lift and a bit of brake to make the car point. You don't want to be closer to the white line on the right side. You still will arrive a bit to the right, but if you're gonna overdo it, that is gonna be very hard to align for the next one. And for the next one, I use as a reference for turning the moment that to me feels like I'm bringing the car back to the white line. That's when I'm braking and I'm doing the lift at the same time. I'm doing the lift, I'm applying just a bit of brake to make the car point, and you want to use this curb a lot. You can use it without an off track. Now going back on power, using this curb as well. Just a bit of hesitation on power here, which is losing me more than 1/10. So be mindful of that. Going into the fast double apexes, I use as a reference for braking this part where the line starts to go straight again. So there's a kink here, so the line goes straight, now it rounds out to the right and then it's straight again. Whenever you hit the kink, like right here, I'm applying the brakes. It's not a heavy braking zone, you want to just make the car point. I'm downshifting to third. I'm trying to stay as tight as I can here, however I have some understeer around the way because of the trail brake. You really want to slow the car a bit more, because it's more important to cover less distance and be earlier on throttle than to carry the speed and then understeer on exit like this. So the mistake was that I was too far away of this curb. You want to be, like, if you're gonna see the first curb, how close am I to this one, you want to be the same for the second one as well. And that's why I'm losing a bit of time on the exit here. For the final corner, the braking point is in between this arrow, this sign, and the 22 number from this Marshall post right here. I'm braking in between, I'm braking hard, I'm picking 90, and then dropping while rotating. And it's super important here on this white and red curve to be back on throttle. So right now I'm putting the power down, I'm getting back on throttle. The earlier you're gonna be here on throttle, the most you're gonna gain, because again, it's a big straight. If you consider that next corner is flat and then up until turn one, it's a decent straight. So the earlier you're gonna be on throttle, the most time you're gonna gain. The focus is just on the exit in this corner, to simplify it. Using all the track, and in short, that's a track guide with the Ferrari fixed for the Oulton Park. I wish you a great week ahead, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.